Hello and welcome to Art with Mr. P. This week we're painting. Now painting is very much about colour and how colours mix and how light behaves. So really actually we're doing science this week because science is also very much concerned about colours and colour mixing and how light behaves sometimes. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is to create some washes for a background. So I'm going to mix some primary colours to make secondary colours. And then I'm going to ask you to collage some details on. Anyway, enough from me. Let's do it. Right, so what have we got here? Well, we've got some water, paper towel, and we've got the three primary colours in paint. Also got some white paper. And your first task is to create a blue and yellow background. Now we want this to be very watery. We want this wishy here, wishy-washy. So I'm going to get some blue and I'm going to make sure there's plenty of water in it. Now inevitably, of course, these colours are going to mix. So if we mix blue and yellow, we're going to get the other colour, the secondary colour. And I'm not going to say what it is because I'm hoping that you know what it is. So plenty of water on here. Notice how I'm moving the brush backwards and forwards along the long edge of the paper. And I think I'll put some blue down here. Can you see how wet the paint is? So push the paint all the way along. Okay, now I'm going to clean the brush. Clean the brush. Dry it off on the paper towel, and I'm going to go into the yellow paint. Oh, I didn't clean the brush quite well enough, and you can get a hint of what we're coming up with. So I'm going to paint yellow in the middle here, using lots of water again. I don't want this to dry out, not yet. Okay, on it goes. Yellow the other bit. Okay, there it is. Right, let's go up to the corners, around the edges, on the bottom. I'm going to do the same here. Right, now I'm going to make sure my brush is lovely and wet, holding the paper down. I'm going to pull the paint across the paper, but making sure that I go in the same direction all the time. So we're going across here, need more water. As soon as your brush starts to dry out, get more water. So I'm dragging the paint and the paint is blending across the page. Lots of water. Okay, so I'm dragging the brush long ways across the paper. And you can see that where the yellow and the blue mix, you knew it anyway, we get the green, don't we? Yeah. I'm going to go back again, because I want these colours to blend here. I think I'll put a little bit more blue in here. That's better, isn't it? See how it's turning to green? So blue and yellow make green, yeah? So blue and yellow are the primary colours and green is the secondary colour. Down it goes. Okay. So I think that will do nicely. Okay, so I put that to one side to dry. Now careful, we don't want paint anywhere where it shouldn't be. Get another piece of paper. Down it goes. Right, clean your brush well. Try and get rid of those colours. Now this time, we are going to use red and yellow. Okay, red and yellow. So let's start at the top. Red, on it goes. Now I think my red is getting a bit old actually. It's been in the drawer for a few years. It seems to have developed some lumps in it where it's dried out a bit, I think. Okay, plenty of water. Right, let's have another red band towards the bottom of the page. More water. And it goes. Okay, right. Clean the brush. Dry it on the paper towel. Go and get some yellow paint. Try and keep the yellow paint, at this point, keep the yellow paint clean, yeah? Keep it yellow. Try not to mix any other colour. Well, try not to mix the red into it anyway. And if you've still got blue on the table like I have, try not to mix that in either. And I think we've got yellow on the bottom. Right, now, load your brush up with water. And pass your brush long ways along, trying to blend in the colours. Going along. Pulling the brush right across the paper. Blend those colours in as best you can. So you're mixing those colours on the paper, yeah? Okay, so if we mix the red and the yellow, we start to get oranges, yeah? So the red and yellow are the primary colours, and the orange is the secondary colour. A bit like primary school and secondary school, yeah? Okay, all the way across, and put that to one side to dry. Make sure you clean your brush, dry it out on the paper towel. Now next, I would like you to draw on another piece of paper. I would like you to draw two groups of creatures. And if you have them, I'd like you to draw them in wax pastels or wax crayons, or even in candle. A bit of old candle will work. And I'd like you to draw this creature 3 times. So something like this. If you need to draw it in pencil first, it could be an idea. Get someone to help you maybe. No harm in that. And I think maybe some smaller ones. Now in art, 3 is always a nice number, yeah. So I'm going to draw 3 of these. That one's a bit weird. And I would also like you to draw, but what's important is you draw that in red or yellow or orange. And then I'd like you to draw this creature 3 times using blue or red. So you might have seen this creature uptown while you're up there. Might be, it's kind of any bird, yeah. Make a mistake, maybe draw it in pencil first, yeah. I'm being a bit ambitious here, it's quite tricky. Trickier than I thought. the top of my head. There we are. We got 3 of those. Now, get another colour. So for the fish, I'm going to use a yellow, and I'm going to put some texture on it. So I'm going to try and make these look vaguely like scales, I think. And don't forget the gill, where the fish breathes. Yeah. And round we go, something like that. And then we've got bones in the tail. Scales. Now take your time. Remember, I've been doing this for a little bit longer than you've been alive, yeah? So I'm going quite quickly. I also don't want to waste your time, yeah? As long as you get the idea of what you're meant to be doing, that's just fine, yeah? Okay. And I think I'm going to get, oh, I know, how about this colour? And I think I'll do something similar for the birds, except they're meant to be feathers instead of scales, so they're going to go the other way, aren't they? Something like that. Right, and then going back to the paint, I would like you to, for the birds, I would like you to mix a little bit of blue with a little bit of red. Oh, the blue is strong, isn't it? So we've got blue and red. Oh, blue's really taking over, isn't it? You need to make this, carefully need to make make sure there's lots and lots of water in this. Yeah. More water than that. Far too much paint. So a little bit of testing required here, I think. Still too much. Something like that. So you can still see, don't worry about going outside the lines here, because what we're going to do is let this dry out and then cut it out. Okay, so we got our birds there. And then what I'd like you to do is, for the fish, take a little bit of yellow and even smaller bit of red. Mix those. So yellow and red make that orange. Now, it needs to be a lot more watery than that. Okay, and then paint your fish. So hardly any paint needed, because we still want to be able to see the lines. Now when you come to the eye, don't paint all of the eye, leave a bit of it. And that will look like the glistening bit on your eye. Yeah? Not that fish particularly have glistening bits because they're underwater anyway, but gives that impression of reflection. Yeah? Something like that. And for this one too. Yes. So can you see how you've got the outline, but you can just see the scales or the feathers? So this is wax resist. Yeah. Nice. Okay, nice one. Now we need to let those dry. Make sure you clean your brush. Make sure you've got no paint on there. Dry it on the paper towel. Okay, so what I've got here is the red and yellow blended into an orange background. I've started to cut out the wax resist birds that we've just done. So I'm going as carefully as I can, going round the outline. I'm trying to keep the outline there because I think it helps to show the shapes. Now, so what we're doing here, we're going to collage these on. So we're going to stick these birds onto the background, and we've got this contrast of yellow and red mixed into an orange on the background, as opposed to this blue and red in the birds, making a kind of purple that will then be collaged and stuck onto that background. So there we have some almost silhouettes, the coolish silhouettes of the birds flying in the sunset sky. So I'll stick those down later. With the other background, we've got the blue and the yellow mixing together to make some greens. I've already cut out some of the fish. There we go. Carefully cutting around the line, making sure, well, I'm trying to keep the line because I quite like how it shows where the edge is. So I cut around there carefully, and then I'll stick my 3 fish down. So in effect what we have are these warm fish, all 3 of them, on this kind of sandy sea type background. And you can still see the scales of the fish showing through. Okay, very good. So this week we've been looking at painting and a bit of wax resist where the paint doesn't like to stick on to where we've drawn on with the wax crayons, and we've tried to do a little bit of mixing of primary colours and blending so we make a little bit of the secondary colours. Very good. Now, remember, these are just starting points. I've asked you to produce 2 pieces of artwork with wash backgrounds and collage details on. Can you take this further? Can you add maybe more collage or do a 3rd wash and add collage to it? If you can add your own parts to this and not just follow my instructions, then it becomes much more exciting and it becomes much more your artwork. So this week we've been looking at painting. Next week we shall revisit collage. I'll see you then.